number 2, what you do want, not what you don't want, right? So you may have heard this, what you resist persists, right?
That's right.
We want to look for the solution, not at the challenge. Right? So let's take a second and workshop this. What are some of the most common challenges? Let's just get down, I don't know, let's get down 4 or 5 of them. Just blurt them out.
Price.
Price, okay, great. What else?
Time.
What's that?
Time.
Time, okay, great. What else?
Trust.
Trust, that's a good one. What else? And Craig, you read these back to me because I can't see with me presenting this up. We have 3.
I'm typing up. We have price, we have time, we have trust.
What else? What are some other challenges?
Money.
Money, absolutely. Money is a big challenge. What else?
Understanding. They don't always understand the what something is supposed to do, so we have to do a better job of explaining. It's ferreting out what their issues are, and then explaining the product that solves or is the solution to their need.
100%, Linda. That's spot on. And I would even take it a magnitude higher than the what is the why behind the what, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think that's 5 of them. Now I can give you the antidotes, right? So if we were to focus on what we do want and not what we don't want, what would be the antidote or the opposite to each of those challenges? So let's go through the first one, Craig. What was the first one?
Price.
Price. If we were to ask ourselves, what would be a magnitude more valuable to our clients, more meaningful to them than the price? What would be so important that price would become less relevant and this would become more relevant?
Value.
Value. That's right. Value, right? Value, because how many times in our life, right, when you buy something, whether it's a toy or something that you've always wanted, or something that you need for yourself, your family, or a loved one, the most important things are the most expensive, but when you feel most good about those purchases, how do you describe them? What are some comments that you
describe them as valuable purchases, don't you? Because they're actually going to last quite some time and they're beneficial for you, your family, your client, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, right. Wow, that was the best $100 I spent. That was worth every penny, right? Right. And when people have the right coverage and they're in an accident and it's frustrating and everything, but they have a wonderful experience, what types of things might they be saying? Come on, guys, play with me.
No one's ever explained it that way. I'm so glad that you took the time, and now I know it's going to help me.
Yeah, right. Or after an accident, they're like, "Oh my God, Linda, thank you so much. I mean, first and foremost, I'm glad my daughter's okay. The car is totaled, but that I can go to bed at night with the peace of mind knowing that we're absolutely covered." Okay. Right? I mean, you've been on those calls. What are some of the testimonials? What are they saying to you? How are they thanking you?
No, we actually have somebody recently.
Ryan, you're muted. Yeah.
There we go. Unmuted. Hey, we had somebody recently that actually, when we were talking about the price versus the value, her comment to us was, well, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet to have the right coverage. And so that was the testimonial to us that they got the point, they got the value, that it wasn't just about the price. And because we asked, is that going to be affordable for you? Because it was a pretty big price increase. And they said, well, it doesn't, whether it's comfortable for me or not, doesn't matter. It's what I need.
That's the point. I would remove that. Is that going to be affordable question from the vocabulary, because their response though was more indicative. They pretty much just said price is not an issue because what we need is so valuable we have to have it. Okay. Right. And so these are some examples, guys, because when you're on these calls and you've arrived at, remember, let's go back to number one, the focus on what you want, the outcome first, not the process, right? So the outcome is ultimately someday you're going to be on a call with them where their life has been saved, their property has been saved, something has happened. And are they saying to you, oh my gosh, you know, Ryan, I'm so glad I beat you down and I got the lowest possible price. How many of you have had that call after a claims call?
I really doubt anyone has.
Yeah, right? And I can tell by the silence though in this room, I invite you to go back and record some of these claims calls, because when you want to focus, when you're asking yourself, what is my mindset? It's not to overcome the objection of price, or it's to somehow hope that this person doesn't need to ask her husband or to whatever. It is to connect with your mindset around the lives that you're changing. What you want are people who understand and get the value that in many ways, this is the most important investment of their life. Ryan said it best. They're not buying something from us that they want. They're buying something from us that they need. We hope that they never need it, but when they do need it, that is what they do want that's going to drive these calls. That's the antidote, folks. And what I need you to do and make a promise and a commitment to yourselves and each other is that you're recording some of these claims calls, and maybe every day, every week, you know, we start our calls on Tony's executive team with a celebration. I mean, we could be on multiple calls a day, and it's like, okay, we've been on 3 calls. Each call starts with some sort of recording or some sort of testimonial, some celebration, and that gets everybody right back in state. That reminds us why we're here and what we're doing. So if you started every sales day at your agency with a recording from a positive claims call, what kind of impact do you think that would have on your LSP's mindset going into these sales calls? That's a question.
They'll be more focused.
Yeah, they'll be more focused, and they'll be more associated to what we're actually really doing here. Okay. So that brings us to number 3, which is the subject of what you want, not the lack of it. That's maybe a reinforcement or another way to say number 2. What is the outcome for this call? What is the interaction, right? We can go through some of those other points, Craig. That we covered price. What was number 2?
Time,
right? So if you don't have time now, how much time are you going to need when you get into an accident, or there's a theft, or there's some challenge, or what do they call those? The CATs, right? These catastrophic events. Do you think you're going to have time for it then? What would be a better use of your time? To spend 20 or 30 minutes really allowing me to dig deep and get to what your family actually needs? Or should we spend a few hours debating it when that cat hits and you're not fully covered?
I'll kind of jump in on that. I find it when we've taken the time in the initial stages to uncover their needs, we spend less time on the back end when they renew.
Yes.
It just makes it easier because we've established that rapport and that relationship and that trust right off the bat.
Yes.
So having a rate increase of 25%, they already know that we're going to do the right thing for them, and it takes away a lot of the question marks. So it's been really beneficial with my agency, but as I purchase other agencies, I'm having to start from square one with existing clients that are what I would say new, and it's way more difficult because it's like starting over.
Yes, awesome. I found a way I can actually see you, Travis. Thank you, man. That's you, right?
Yeah, I have also one of my new guys here. So
Oh.
I keep switching it back when I'm back and forth.
Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome, man. I appreciate that. And it's so true because many of you, as you grow and scale this thing, will need to acquire or start new agencies. And this becomes the framework of how you run it, right? I mean, imagine when I met Tony a decade ago, he had 12 or 13 businesses doing a couple $100 million. You fast forward it now, it's over 30 businesses doing $6 billion. All he's doing is taking these strategies and these structures and implementing them business by business by business. So that's a great one.